everyone. You know, I love to try new recipes and sample new ingredients, but week to week, month to month, I kind of rely on the same basic kitchen staples. So I thought I would share those with you, and I emptied out my cupboards and a little bit of my fridge just to show you the things that I work with on a regular basis. So some pretty basic foods that, with a little variety, switching things up a little bit, you can make lots and lots of delicious, nourishing dishes. So, so first off, beans and grains, those show up in my meals quite often, and I usually have a big variety. So lately in my cupboard, I have black beans, I have lentils of different types. These are red lentils and green lentils, and even these fun, they're called black caviar lentils. They're really pretty. I really like these lentils as well as green French lentils to use for salads because they hold up really well. They have a nice texture. And I have a bowl of the caviar lentils cooked here, and I'll turn this into a salad tonight with some fresh tomatoes, first of the season from Yavapai College Agricultural Program, and some feta cheese, some herbs, probably a bright dressing made with lemons and shallot, a little Dijon mustard, some thyme. Something like beans need a lot of bright flavor to freshen them up because they're kind of bland tasting. So that will be part of dinner tonight. What else do I have? I've got some white beans as well, pinto beans from the local Aguiar farm in Paulden, and grains. So pretty much rely on different kinds of rice. So this is just a package of short brown rice. I really love farro, which is an ancient kind of wheat. This is a quick cooking 10-minute farro that they sell at Trader Joe's. It's a nice chewy grain. It's kind of big and makes great salad grain. It makes a great risotto, makes a great pilaf. I also really love purple rice, which can sometimes be called forbidden rice or black rice. And I hope you can see that. It's this beautiful purple color, and that purple color really shows how nutritious it is. That purple color is a real special phytochemical. That's awesome, really good for you. Also have a variety of nuts and seeds. Here's a jar of pumpkin seeds. I've got a couple bags of nuts, walnuts and hazelnuts happen to be hanging out in my kitchen lately. Another grain, polenta. This happens to be a wonderful brand. It's Community Grains is a locally sourced company. They grow this polenta in Washington State, and so I use polenta quite a bit. And I also have some white rice, believe it or not. I got this giant bag of Calrose rice at Trader Joe's. It will take a while to use this, but I really like white rice sometimes. Sometimes there's just things that need white rice, and I like to use that actually to make risotto sometimes. Little bit of dairy-like things. I usually have some Parmesan in the fridge for adding some flavor. I don't have any right now, but for non-dairy cheese, I really love this brand, Chow, because it's actually made with real ingredients. It's not just oil and preservatives and stabilizers that a lot of the vegetarian cheeses are. It's made with tofu. It has actually a nice taste, and it actually melts. Makes a really good quesadilla. I really love Kite Hill cream cheese. This is made from almonds. So I always have these two vegetarian cheeses. So we don't do a lot of real dairy here in my house because neither one of us can tolerate it very much. But I do like a little plain yogurt, and this is the real deal. So that's the dairy, kind of the extent of the dairy in my fridge. Some other things, I always have some sort of pasta. This happens to be a gluten-free pasta made from brown rice. This is a real good brand. It's called Pasta Joy. And gluten-free pastas, sometimes they can be okay, and sometimes not so good, and sometimes great. I like Pasta Joy. I also like the brand called Jovial. It makes a real nice gluten-free pasta. I always have some things that I call flavor bombs in the cupboard or in the fridge. And those are things that I use to bring the flavor up in a dish. You don't need a lot of it. And my favorites are, if I don't make my own pesto, I have a jar of pesto. This happens to be Trader Joe's, but you can get jars of pesto anywhere in the regular grocery store too. But I do really like Trader Joe's brand sun-dried tomatoes and olive oil. I always have a jar of this around. And other flavor bombs, olives. This happens to be from Sprouts, and some feta cheese. A little bit more dairy, but we don't use a lot of it. And with something like feta, it's so strongly flavored, a little goes a long way. I also have for canned goods, really not a whole lot. I always have some canned tomatoes of some sort, and canned beans of various types. Just in an emergency, I don't feel like cooking beans, I've got a can of them. And always have some herbs, the most basic ones probably being cilantro, parsley, and there's some mint that is growing crazily in my garden. So I always have lots of mint this time of year anyway. But basically, you know, parsley and cilantro you can do a lot with. So I always have a bunch of those. I keep them in jars on my countertop. I use them relatively quickly. They'll keep a week or so, but you gotta remember to keep changing the water just like you do with flowers, and snip off the ends of the stems to keep them fresh. Lastly, a few produce items that I always have on hand. I always have some kind of onion. I always have, there's not much left. It looks like I have to go shopping. Some garlic. This is a shallot. I always have that. This time of year I will have tomatoes. This is a lovely tomato I bought at Pangea Bakery, and it is grown at Yavapai College with the agricultural program. Always have some avocados as well. Some sort of carrot. These are some yellow carrots and orange carrots that I got in my community supported agriculture veggie box from Whipstone Farm this week. I always have citrus, lemons and limes, oranges, to make vinaigrettes and sauces, and just to spritz into things to brighten up the flavor. I always have celery. And that is really it. That's kind of my pantry in a nutshell. So think about things that you might want to always have on hand, things that you can just grab to make quick and delicious meals. Everybody has a little different preferences, but if you have all these ingredients on hand, you can make a nice meal in just a minute. Probably a few more. We'll see you soon.